Morning. President Trump takes a swipe at Portland. He's threatening to defund the city, along with other cities also dealing with protests and riots.
So the president sent a memo to the U.S. Attorney General and the director of the Office of Management and Budget. That memo directed them to identify federal funding that can be withheld from any city that President Trump describes as, quote, permitting anarchy, violence, and destruction. That memo specifically names Portland, Seattle, and New York. So here's a look at what part of the president's memo said. Quote, for the past few months, several state and local governments have contributed to the violence and destruction in their jurisdictions by failing to enforce the law, disempowering and significantly defunding their police departments, and refusing to accept officers of federal law enforcement assistance. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler, he responded on Twitter with these words. The mayor's words again, the president continues to believe that disenfranchising people living in this country to advance his petty grudges is an effective political strategy. Wheeler added, the rest of us know it is dangerous, destructive, and divisive.
We're learning more about how Oregon State troopers may step in to handle the protests. Most notably, they now have the power to make arrests on federal charges. The federal government first deputized some troopers back in July when they were brought in to help protect the federal courthouse. But this is different. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, troopers will now have the ability to arrest people on federal charges anywhere in the city. Multnomah County DA Mike Schmidt has said he won't prosecute lesser charges like interfering with a peace officer or trespassing. But now if OSP arrests a protester, the U.S. attorney could prosecute that person. In the meantime, Portland's police chief is tweeting about a video that's gaining traction online. You're looking at it here. It shows one of his officers tackling a protester Monday night and punching him repeatedly. Chief Chuck Lavelle said those videos do raise legitimate concerns. He says this kind of conduct gets reviewed and officers under review are taken off crowd management duty. The chief adds other officers who have been assaulted or even injured are asked to go back out and endure more. We are not perfect. We make mistakes and hold ourselves accountable. The independent police review exists as a separate entity to also hold us accountable.
We actually had a chance to talk with former Portland Police Chief Derek Foxworth. He spoke exclusively with Pat Dorris. He told Pat that the current chief is in a tough position right now and that he needs support from City Council.
I met up with Derek Foxworth at the North Portland Police Precinct. It's a place that's been the focus of repeated violent attacks this summer. Foxworth is homegrown, grew up in Portland. His family is still here, and his son is now on the police force.
I have been reluctant to really come out and to talk about this. I see what is happening to the black community. My heart was broken to see a 16-year-old boy, young man, shot and killed. And there is no one out there saying anything about it.
August 27th, Jalen Scott died, shot with 3 other teens at Gateway Park on Northeast Halsey Street.
Shortly after taking office, Chief Lavelle had his budget slashed by millions of dollars and directly affected a specialty unit that was focused on gang violence prevention. And when that unit went away, there was nothing in place to go in to do that body work to get that job done.
To be clear, he supports the goal of reforming police.
The incidents that we've seen across the country are unacceptable, and that police need to change and they need to do a better job.
But that's different than the violent attacks at protests we've seen night after night in Portland.
The violence, the attempts to burn down buildings, occupied buildings, the other criminal behavior, that's unacceptable. That places people's lives at risk.
He believes the nightly violence has hijacked the Black Lives Matter movement.
There's no message about addressing systemic racism, about unemployment, access to health care, criminal justice reform. That message is getting lost.
And he's frustrated that during all the violence, city council members have not stood together and denounced it.
It has been. It's a deafening silence.
This past Sunday, Mayor Ted Wheeler did denounce the killing of a Trump supporter and all the other violence. Commissioner Fritz posted a message on her website that said she was sad and worried the message is getting lost. Commissioner Hardesty tweeted a statement that she is also sad but not surprised and criticized police. And Commissioner Udaley issued a statement August 25th that criticized police. the former police chief said those statements are not nearly enough.
Chief LaBelle is in a very difficult position. He is the only face besides a handful of others that is out denouncing what should clearly be something that everyone can agree on, which is supporting peaceful protests and denouncing violence.
Pat Doris, KGW News.
Meanwhile, Portland police did share a sad story with us. Police told us that a driver hit 2 children in the Portsmouth neighborhood of North Portland last night. Investigators say the kids were playing when they ran in between 2 parked cars, then ran right into traffic. One of the kids is just 3 years old. He now has life-threatening injuries. The other child did not have to go to the hospital. Investigators also told us that the driver involved here is cooperating.
Turning now to the pandemic. There's some encouraging news in the fight to contain the spread of COVID-19 here in Oregon. The state reported 140 new infections yesterday, marking the first time we've seen fewer than 150 cases a day since June. This is part of a trend we've seen lately. The number of cases keeps dropping. However, this is a big caveat. Health officials are warning all of us to be cautious during the long Labor Day weekend. They say it is critical that we keep gathering small and local. We saw COVID cases spike after both Memorial Day and the 4th of July. Okay, now that schools are back in session for students here in Portland, they'll spend the next couple of weeks kind of easing into the school year. The district is calling it a soft start.
Kind of had a soft finish last year, Brenda, to be honest with you, but we know there are a lot of challenges right now that come with distance learning. Kids and teachers have to get used to the new schedules, the new platforms, which are really, in most cases, supposed to look and feel different than what we did have back in the spring. So Portland Public Schools says it will use these first few weeks to figure out which students need more help connecting to the learning material. We have heard from parents concerned about what they called the lack of a plan for special education students who really need that in-person education. So we took that question directly to Portland Schools Superintendent.
This is a group of students who we already know needs our attention. We'll start by connecting with them. And as soon as it's safe, we want to have a game plan for beginning to bring back in-person limited student groups wherever possible.
So when it comes to making sure other kids don't fall through the cracks, Guerrero says the district has hired 4 dozen additional social workers and counselors. He also said the district is working with culturally specific community groups to help connect with families.
So we got some great first day of school pics from our viewers, and not everybody is very excited about getting back to the grind. This viewer said their oldest just is not impressed. And Andres is starting 4th grade, and his mom Patria says he is not happy. This pic shows the fantasy of back to school versus reality. But at least somebody's excited. This is Miriam, and she just started the 1st grade at Horizon Christian School. She says she's most excited for science. I love all those pictures. Keep them coming. We want to see your kids' first day of school. Just text them to the phone number there on your screen. It's 503-226-5088.